Hello and welcome to another video. You're welcome to Inquisitive Universe. Happy New Year. This is our first video of the year, and today we're going to talk about brand loyalty. It's the series we've been doing since last year, the problem with, and today's problem we're going to be looking at is the problem with brand loyalty. So let's go. Alright, so let's talk about brands. Now, a brand is simply a company or anybody that provides goods and services to consumers. It's simply a brand. So long as there is a verified name that the company has with a logo and all, it's registered to whatever body that the company is supposed to be registered to and provides goods and services for consumers, that's definitely a brand. There are lots of big brands, fashion brands like you've got Gucci, for example, Louis Vuitton, and so on and so forth. But for smartphones, you've got the really big names: Apple, Samsung, Xiaomi, Oppo, Realme, Tecno, Infinix, Itel, Google, and so on and so forth. Brands are pretty much everywhere. Now, the benefits to buying from a particular brand could outweigh the benefits of buying from another brand. Everybody these days now have a brand that they like, and if somebody is only going to buy from one particular brand, that person is definitely termed what is called a brand loyalist. For example, if I say that I'm only ever going to buy phones from Xiaomi, that would make me a brand loyalist. If somebody says they're only ever going to buy Apple's iPhones, then they are probably what you'd call a brand loyalist of Apple's iPhones. Now, what are the benefits to buying from a brand or being a brand loyalist? There are quite a few. First of all, if a brand has a mark of quality, that means that there really isn't going to be a lot of brain power that should be put into whether you want to buy from them or not, especially if a brand has been known for a long period of time for having quality attached to the name. If a brand gives you quality, obviously it makes sense that you're going to want to stick to that particular brand. But there are lots of problems that can be attached to brand loyalty, especially where you see people who I'm actually choosing my words carefully right now, but brand loyalists or brand loyalty or fanboyism in extreme cases tends to do a bit more harm than good, and that's what we're here to look at today, the problem with brand loyalty. The first problem with brand loyalty is that it gives brands the leverage to act as they please, especially when brands know that there's not really a lot of competition for customers and their competitors or competition is actually slacking off, and they know that whatever they bring to the market will sell like hotcakes. They start acting funny in a way that they know that no repercussions will come out of it. First off, they can set prices the way they like because they know that whether people like it or not, they are going to be loyal to the brand so much so that they would buy it without questioning. Brands can actually sell like trashy products for like really outrageous prices, and nobody's going to call them to order, nobody's going to question them because, well, they have brand loyalists that are going to buy. Sometimes they could even downgrade the quality of their products and nobody's going to question them. They can simply act the way they choose and people are going to be like, well, they must have a good reason for doing so. And that will take us to number two, fanboyism. Oh dear Lord. It's lots of people, it's okay to be fans of a brand, to be a fan, definitely a huge fan. There are some brands that I have been a fan of in the past and I'm currently a fan of right now, but being a fan and being a fanboy are like very different things. Yes, they're toxic fans, that one is okay, but the term itself, fanboyism, has come to mean somebody who is a willing pawn, a willing tool, an unthinking person who just jumps to the defense of his preferred brand. And when you see people who are brand loyalists, when they love a brand so much, critical thinking tends to go out of the window because it's their favorite brand. Their favorite brand can do no wrong. Their favorite brand has to be defended at all means. And fanboyism with brand loyalty in the same mix, it's never a good idea at all. 3, remember what I said earlier? To fanboys, their brand can do no wrong. And remember when we talked about number 1, brands acting the way they choose, and number 2, with fanboys, putting number 1 and number 2 together, it will take us to number 3, where no matter what a brand does, it can never do anything wrong. Does a brand pick a low-end camera, pick a low-end processor, put them together and chooses to sell it for over $200, it's fine. It's my brand. They can do whatever they like. They have my best interest at heart. My brand can do nothing wrong. I'm going to defend my brand, blah blah blah. Even when brands are slipping in quality, but to their fans, no matter what these brands do, there is absolutely nothing wrong with it. Charge $1,500 for a phone, the fanboys are going to defend it, that there's obviously a good reason for it, even though there isn't any. Number 4, the loss of independent thought. Most people who are like serious brand loyalists, they spend a lot of time on the social media pages or message boards of their preferred brands, and whatever official statement that is put out by the company becomes their byline. It becomes their watchword. They lose their individual thought, they lose their individualism, which is, for a person, for a human being who is supposed to have independent rational thought, it becomes a big problem. And they also tend to lose their self-identity as well. Some people do no longer see themselves as themselves. They no longer see themselves as James or as John. They see themselves as the valiant defender of brand A or brand B. I mean, there are people who literally jump from a rival brands group from one to the other, looking for where someone said a bad word about their preferred brand, and then unleashing a torrent of insults. They just want to give the person hell. They throw people from other brands, or people who buy from other brands, or the message boards of other brands. There is no, these people no longer have their kind of self-identity. If somebody says a bad word about their preferred brand, they take it to heart. It's as if somebody insulted them personally, and they go out of their way to make sure that whatever slight against their preferred brand or their preferred company that they like is avenged with vengeance. And yeah, that would take us to the last one. I think I already mentioned a bit of it in the earlier one, but I mean, with brand loyalists, they see anybody who doesn't buy from their preferred brand as their enemy. I'm sure there must be some guy some lady who uses a particular brand, and they'll be like, probably you want to get something, and they're always going to be like, all right, come over here and see the one I'm using here, it's good, it's fine, buy from the brand I'm using. And you tell them no to their faces, it's gonna cause serious problem, fracas between the both of you. And it's not just that. Anybody who buys from the other brand, you come and you say, oh, I'm using so and so brand, you instantly become their enemy. Why didn't you buy from my brand? Oh, so users have come again. These people, they're always this, they're always that. There's so much animosity between people who use a certain brand and people who use another brand. These are all caused by extreme forms of brand loyalty, and at the end of the day, it's really not worth it, honestly. But brand loyalty, when used right, it can be good, honestly. When used right, it can be a good tool for you to be able to not just manage resources, but to get the best, what your money is worth. But when taken to the extreme, I think it messes up not just people's personality, not just their individualism. It doesn't just take away their rational thought, but it takes away from them as a person. They become a willing tool, a stooge, a pawn of brands that probably do not even care about them enough to reduce their prices for the customers that they are selling it to. And in this day and age, with capitalism on its last legs, and the economies of around the world, not just here but around the world, are crashing. You see the Turkish lira, African currencies are nosediving. The scarce resources that you have are supposed to be, you're supposed to use to get the best of what they're worth, not just like working and taking away all your resources and then giving it to a brand. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. But that's the video. I don't know. As always, I always ask you, what do you think? I always like to see your comments as well. Let me know if I made any sense or if I did not. But that will be it for this video. My name is Jeffrey once more, and I'll be signing out.